Hello everyone, today we are going to do The Merchant of Venice, Act 1, Scene 1, written by William Shakespeare. Okay, let us begin. So, the scene 1 takes place in a street of Venice. Okay, so the three main characters over here are Antonio, Salarino, and Salanio. So, let me give you a background about Antonio. So, basically, Antonio is a rich merchant, right? And all of his wealth or all of his spices and goods, they are just now abroad, because all of his like for example spices or silk cloth, they are since he is a merchant, all of his goods are in a ship and they are in the ocean, right? They are being transported, they are doing trade, right? So this was the background of Antonio. Let us study more. In sooth means in reality. I know not why I am sad. Antonio is saying he does not know why I am sad. It wearies me. It means it troubles me. You say it wearies you, and you say it troubles you. How I caught it. These points are really important. Questions come. How I caught it. So when you will write about it, so what questions did Antonio have about his sadness? How he caught it, how he found it, how he came by it, what stuff is it made up of, where is it born. He did not know all about that. So I am to learn. I am to learn means I do not know about it. I have to learn about it. I have to study about it because I know nothing. Okay. And such a want-wit sadness makes of me. Want-wit means dumb person. Okay. And such a want-wit sadness makes of me. He's saying that sadness makes me a dumb person. And I myself do not know myself. Okay. So he's saying that I have much ado to know myself. He's saying that I have to now, I have a lot of trouble in recognizing myself only because of this sadness. He's saying because of this sadness, I do not know, I'm not able to recognize the old me, right? So he is saying that this sadness makes him a want-wit person. Right after that, Salarino. Your mind is tossing on the ocean. Since I just now told you that all of his goods were in the ocean, so Salarino says that your mind is tossing on the ocean. Means you are all the time thinking about your cargo ships which are in the ocean. There were your argosies with portly sail. Argosies over here means rich merchant ships, right? Rich cargo ships with swelling sail. Portly sail over here means swelling sail. Means they sail so magnificently. It looks like some big person or big nobleman is just floating. If it were a ship, it looks like that. Okay, like seigneurs mean nobleman. Just now I told you like it looked like nobleman. So it is comparing the argosies of Antonio with seigneur, which who are noblemen, and rich burghers means citizens. So Salarino is comparing Antonio's ships to rich citizens and noblemen, right? After that, we have or it were the pageant of the sea do overpeer the petty traffickers. Now he's saying that they move like great spectacles. Okay, great spectacles, and that curts do overpay the petty trafficker. So petty means the fellow traffickers. Traffickers over here means merchant ships. Okay, so he's saying that your argosies overpeer means go across and pass by these petty traffickers, and these petty traffickers, what they do, they curtsy to you. Curtsy means to bow down and to show respect. Okay, so these fellow small merchant ships, they curtsy to you because they want to show you respect for reverence, and then your argosies fly by them, means they move very swiftly and they cross these petty traffickers with their woven wings, means their canvas sails. Right after that, Salanio says, believe me sir, had I such venture forth. He's saying that, believe me sir, if I had this type of business operation, this type of business thing would have been going on with me, the better part of my affection would be with my hopes abroad. So the better part of my affection over here means I would be just thinking about my mind. The better part means the larger part of my mind would be thinking about my hopes abroad, means my cargo abroad. Okay, I should be still, plucking the grass to know where sits the wind. So he is saying that I would be still, and what happened was, during that time, since there were not so many big devices for taking out the velocity of winds, so what they did was they plucked the grasses and they held them in their hand, and that used to tell them about the average velocity and the direction of the wind. Okay, with that the merchants could tell where to go, or if this wind could damage their merchant ships. Okay, and then after he would peer into maps. He would peer into maps to find dangerous things, like if this is my boat and this is its path, and I peer this path into from the map, and I see a stone over here. So eventually when my ship will come over here, it will get in contact with it, and then after all my cargo would be destroyed. All whatever cargo is there, that would be destroyed. So this stone can be big harm, the piers could be harmed, the roads could be harmed. So he's saying, Salanio is saying that if I had such a big business, I would be looking into the maps only to find out where rocks are there, or anything that could slightly even damage my ships. Okay, so every object that might fear me, that might make me fear misfortune to my ventures, means misfortunes means something bad happens to my business operation. Out of doubt, he is saying that I'll not be sure, but this doubt will always be there in my mind, that what if this happened, what if that happened. So that would make me sad. After that, Salarino is going to say, my wind cooling my broth. It means over here, my wind means his breath. Okay, so his breath cooling my broth means over here soup. So when he's blowing over his soup, when you know your soup is very hot, so you blow over it in order to make it cool. So in order to make it cool, that reminded him of the winds that could harm his ship, would blow me to an ague when I thought what harm a wind too great at sea might do. Okay, so whenever he blew on his soup, this act would make him tremble. This act would give him the realization that a great wind, a wind that is very strong, will give a lot of harm, and this thinking would trouble him a lot. Okay, then after that, I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows and of flats, and see my wealthy and you dogged in sand, veiling her high top lower than her ribs, to kiss her burial. Now over here he's saying that I should not see the sand hourglass. So the sand hourglass looks something like this, and I think almost everyone would have seen this in movies or somewhere, right? And this is the sand inside it, and with time this sand slowly gets filled up, and then you again flip it for the same amount of time, right? So this has sand in it, right? And this sand would remind him of the sand in the of the sands, okay? And not only of the sand, this sand in the hourglass would remind him of the quicksand. And if you know something about quicksand, what is quicksand? It will swallow anything, okay? And it is very difficult to come out of a quicksand. If it captures you, it is mud like only, but if it captures you, it is very difficult to come out of it, okay? So he would fear that only, and he would fear that and he would fear about low waters only. What these quicksand and low waters can damage his rich merchant ships. Imagining that he saw a rich ship, he saw his rich ship. Now this line from here, and see my wealthy Andrew. Wealthy Andrew means, Andrew over here means ship. So he would imagine, whenever he would see that sandy hourglass, he would imagine his Andrew, wealthy Andrew, his rich ship to be buried in sand, and it is something like that, like this. So this hole is sand. So he is saying that she would be tilted like this, and it would look like as if she is kissing her burial, okay? Then after that, should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone, and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks, which touching but my gentle vessel's side, would scatter all her spices on stream, enrobe the roaring waves with my silk, and in a word, but even now worth this, and now worth nothing. Okay, let us come over here. So he's saying that should I go to, all of them are Christians, by the way. So he's saying, should I go to church? Should I go to church? If I'll go to church, and in church, if you know, church has a lot of marble in them, right? The whole building is made up of marble, maybe, or the God himself is made up of marble. So whenever he'll see the holy edifice, means whenever he'll see the holy marble, he will be reminded of the dangerous rocks in the wherever his ships are, right? That could harm his ship, right? And then when they'll touch the gentle side of the vessel, means when these rocks, this is the rock, when this rock would touch my vessel, means my ship, and he's referring to the side of ships as very gentle, right? So whenever it will touch over here, then it will scatter all his spices on the stream, and enrobe means whatever the roaring waves are, the water, the waves, that will be enrobed, means they would be covered, or they would wear these wealthy and the rich silk which Antonio had, which Salarino is saying as his just now, for example. Right after this, we have and in a word, but even now what's this, and now what's nothing. He's saying that, but even now, he's saying that at one moment I have everything. I have so much of cargo, I have so much of spices, I have so much of silk, and in the next moment, whatever happens, if the wind does anything or this stone does anything, then I would have nothing with me in the second scenario, right? So it is just a matter of few seconds that could change the whole thing. So that would make me stress a lot, that what if I have something right now and suddenly in few seconds I would have nothing with me. So that is what he meant by it. Right now, after that, shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing by chance would make me sad? He's saying that is it even possible for me to not be sad whenever I'm thinking about it? Tell me, he's asking this question, that is it possible for me to not be sad knowing about this fact that one moment I have everything and the other moment it can be that I have nothing. Okay, but tell not me. I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. He's saying that I know Antonio very well, and I know his melancholy or sadness is because of his merchandise only. So now Antonio is saying, believe me, no, I thank my fortune for it. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted, nor to one place, nor is my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. Therefore my merchandise makes me not sad. So over here, Antonio says, believe me, no, I thank my fortune for it. He says, I thank my money for it. Okay. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted means my ventures, all my money is not risked at one place, at one ship. One bottom trusted means not one ship, nor is it to one place, means all my money of this time is not dependent upon, is not only trusted upon one ship. Okay, it is not also trusted upon one place. So I have this money, this is my whole money, right? And I have given whole of this money to this ship. Now if something happens to this ship, all of this money will also go. Or if this place, this is a place, let's say, and I've given all my money, invested all my money in making like cars or whatever I'm doing. So whatever money I'm giving to it, something happens to this place, my money would go, like my money would also go, right? So he's saying that I have not done this thing, I have not invested. He has, this is his whole money, and he has invested over here, over here, over here, over here. So if in case this one fails, only a part of his money would fail also. So he is telling that only. And one more point he is telling, 1 minute, and one more point he is telling, nor my whole estate, this is his whole money, his what happens if this time he did not make a lot of money and he lost a bit of money, that would not affect his whole estate a lot, and it would not change the economic status of Antonio, right? Therefore my merchandise makes me not sad. He says, therefore my merchandise is not making me sad. Now Salarino says, why? Then you are in love? So Salarino says, then you must be in love. So Antonio says, Fifi. So Fifi over here means shame. Okay. Then Salarino says, not in love either? Then let us say you are sad because you are not merry, and it were as easy for you to laugh and leap and say you are merry because you are not sad. Now by two-headed Janus. Okay, I'll read from here later. So now Salarino is saying you are not in love either, then it must be because you have no reason to be happy about. Okay, so let's take an example. We have this man, and this man is always happy, right? This man is always happy. Why is he not sad? If we'll ask him, why is he not sad? So he will give the reasoning this is because I have nothing to be sad about. So similarly, Salarino is saying that you are sad. Antonio is sad because he has nothing to be happy about. Okay, so this is what Salarino wants to say over here. After that, he gives the example of two-headed Janus. Now this is a classical reference. So Janus was a kind of god. We'll not call him as a god. So in Greek mythology, what happened? He had two faces, right? He had two faces. Two-headed or two-faced god he was. And he had two faces. One face was always sad and angry, and other was happy. Okay, so he is comparing this with whatever he told right now. So he is saying nature hath framed strange fellow in her time. He is saying nature had framed strange people in her time. Some were some were really happy. So over here, some that will evermore peep through their eyes, means when you are happy, okay, your eyes become squinted, right? When you are laughing a lot, your eyes become squinted. So you have to peep through your eyes because you cannot see, because your eyes have become so squinted. Okay, and laugh like a parrot at a bagpiper. So he's saying that they would laugh at anything. Okay, and other of such. So one he told very people who are very happy, and the other he is telling and other of such vinegar aspect. Vinegar means sour aspect. Okay, so he is saying some are very sour. Okay, they have very sour aspect over here, means expression. Some have very sour expression, and so over here we'll say about sour people. Okay, and they will not show their teeth even when Nestor swears that the jest be laughable. Let me read this. That they'll not show their teeth in way of smile through Nestor swear the jest being laughable. So over here Nestor is again a classical reference. So Nestor was a great warrior, and what he was famous because he was very concise and he almost never laughed. So he's saying that even when Nestor himself, who never laughs, he really laughs, that also says that this joke is laughable. But then also these sour expression people, they will not laugh on it, like they are so sour in aspect, right? After that, now enter Bassanio, Lorenzo and Graciano. So the main characters still here which we have studied will be Antonio and Bassanio. Okay, Salarino. Here comes Bassanio, your most noble kinsman. So everyone knew that Bassanio and Antonio were best friends. Graciano and Lorenzo, fare ye well, means goodbye. Okay, so we leave you now with better company. Now Salarino is saying that now we are leaving you with a better company, a better companion. Now Salarino says, I would have stayed till I had made you merry, if worthier friend would have not prevented me. So Salarino is saying over here that I would have talked to you if Bassanio, Graciano and Lorenzo would not have come over here. I would have taken your sadness away and would have made you merry. But this is being stopped by worthier friends, means these friends are more worthy than me to take away your sadness. So that is why I am obliged to leave. Okay, Antonio, your worth is very dear in my regard. I take it your own business calls on you and you embrace the occasion to depart. Antonio is saying that you are also very worthy to me. Okay, Salanio was just now saying to Antonio that worthier friends have come. So Antonio told him, no, you are also very worthy. I take it, your own business calls on you. He's saying that I have understood. Your own business means your own work, whatever work he has, that is calling upon you, and some important work is calling upon you, and you take this chance where Bassanio, Graciano and Lorenzo have come to depart, to leave this talk. Okay, so Salarino says, good morrow, my good lords. He says, good morning, my good lord. Bassanio says, good senior both. When shall we laugh? Say when. He's saying, Bassanio is making a joke, like good senior means good gentleman. He's asking, will you all tell me when should I laugh? Tell me when. Okay, so say when means tell me when, and when shall we laugh? He's asking a question that what is the time when we should laugh? Tell me, right? And you grow exceeding strange. Must it be so? He's saying that you have become a stranger to me. Is that necessary? Because they must have not been meeting too much. So he's saying that we are becoming strangers because we do not meet a lot. So is it necessary that we become strangers? Can't we be just friends? So Salarino says, we'll make our leisures to attend on your. So Salarino is saying that we will find a leisure hour, free time to wait upon you and to meet you, right? Now Lorenzo says, my lord Bassanio, since you have found Antonio, we too will leave you, but at dinner time I pray you have in mind where we must meet. So Lorenzo is saying that Lorenzo was good friends with Graciano, right? So he's saying to Bassanio that I am leaving you with Antonio now, sir, my lord Bassanio. We too will leave you, and but he's saying that but at dinner time they had a function. So but at dinner time you have to keep in mind that you have to come for dinner. Okay, Bassanio is saying I will not fail you. He is saying that I will not let you down and I will surely come. Graciano says, you look not well, Senor Antonio. You have too much respect upon the world. Now Graciano, before I start upon this, Graciano speaks a lot of rubbish. Okay, he says a lot of things, but the meaning is very little in that. So he has a different perspective and he is taken as a clown and funny character in this play, right? So Graciano says, you do not look well, gentleman Antonio. You have too much respect upon this world, means he's saying that you are caring too much upon this world, Antonio. Antonio, you care a lot about this world. They lose it, that do buy it with much care. Believe me, you are marvelously changed. So he's saying that people lose all who have anxiety over business. Okay, so Graciano is trying to tell over here that the people who have a lot of anxiety, who care a lot about their business, they often lose all of it really easily. Believe me, you are marvelously changed. Means Graciano is saying, believe me, Antonio, you have changed so much.